decided to go to the golf course for dinner, and they've recently planted this nice little hedge, which is just a delightful meal for the deer. A bunch of deer here, and it's been wet here. Let's see, she's pretty tame. He, whatever it is, and enjoying the, pretty good stuff. This is the 10th hole here, and there's some people out. Yeah. And it's kind of dark. There's the 18th. And here are our friends the deer. Here is the golf course where my wife likes to play all the time. I'm filming this from the deck. I played hockey this morning and came here to have lunch to use up our quarterly allowance or money that we have to spend in the restaurant. But basically you can see the first hole here, the putting area, the little practice area for your short game. In the background there's the second hole green. Then there is the 9th hole over there, green, and over here we have the 18th hole, and over to the other side of it is the 10th hole. And when the weather is nice, it's really very nice, except to me golf is time away from language learning or other more interesting pursuits, but I do it nevertheless because it's something I can do together with my wife. Hi there, that was a brief look at our golf course, which is 20-25 minutes from here. I wanted to show you that because the theme today is, and I had an opportunity to go and play golf with my wife, but I chose not to. That's a number of reasons. First of all, I got to walk the dog, but I have on occasion called and said I'm not walking the dog. It's because I feel I want to get going on my Korean. And I think one of the things that people often say, well, how do you learn languages? Well, one of the first things is you have to sometimes sacrifice other activities. People always say, I don't have time. I don't believe that. People don't work 24 hours a day. You find the time if that is a priority for you. So we can find the time. We just decide to do A instead of B. A being learn languages. Now, it helps if you can learn in a way that's enjoyable. So I say I won't play golf, but I'm going to be listening to my podcast, which I enjoy doing, and I'm going to be doing it while walking in the forest, which I enjoy doing. So it's an activity. I'm not going to be sitting there looking at conjugation tables, trying to pound them into my head. I'm going to be listening to this podcast, and if I have enough time, I will read in order to try and go over this text and understand more of it and save words and so forth. So it's a choice between something that is not, I wouldn't say equally enjoyable, but the language is something that I want to do. So the key thing is to make that commitment and to spend the time, as I've said many times before. And another thought that I had was, I was thinking, I'd like to go to Korea to practice my Korean, because I know that a week or two there will give me a big boost. And of course I did that with Russian. I studied Russian for 5 years, and then I went to St. Petersburg and Moscow, spoke Russian and had a great time, and it helped my Russian. Czech, I spent a good year and a half. Then I went to Prague, and for 6 or 7 days, or maybe it was a year I spent that first time. And then for 6 or 7 days, I did nothing but speak Czech. And I significantly activated a lot of my passive vocabulary. Now, the trouble with going to Korea too early is that I'm still in the process of accumulating my vocabulary, of doing that listening and reading to make my brain familiar with the language. If I go there and like when I went to Prague, I had 2 tutors on the go. We had meetups with Link members. I arranged to meet with different people so that I was speaking Czech 6 or 7 hours a day. Now, if I don't have enough vocabulary, I don't want to spend 6 or 7 hours a day going around and round in circles saying the same stuff about how long I've been studying Korean and whatever I can say comfortably. I want to be able to go over there and then have meaningful conversations on a variety of subjects, and then activate my
passive vocabulary. So I don't want to go there too early. Again, it's a question of, yeah, spend the time, but spend the time wisely, spend the time enjoyably, spend the time in a way that gives you a good return. So the theme today is, main thing about language learning, spend the time, but spend it wisely. That's my... one thing I should mention, by the way, once you have achieved some ability in the language, then there's so many benefits. Like, I'm going to do a video later on this evening about the situation in Ukraine. And so I listened to a couple of interviews at Echo Moscou, one of the more liberal bent and one of the more pro-government bent. I discovered that the candidate for presidency in Ukraine, nominated by the Party of Regions, is interviewed on the Schuster Live program, because I went and had a look there. What has he got? He's got I see pictures of Dobkin, who is the head of the candidate for the Party of Regions. So I can listen to them, and I presume are going to speak in Russian. So I get to enjoy all this stuff with my language. When they had the political crisis in the Czech Republic, I was able to follow the events which led to the dismissal of the government, and the elections were called, and they have their new president and stuff like that. Controversial figure too. So those are the benefits. One day I will be at that level in Korea. I'm not there yet. So that's all for now. And those of you who are interested in discussing politics can listen to me later if I in fact find the time to do that. Thanks for listening. Bye.